These kids are hungry, Matt. There are some 8 and 9-year-olds in our program that in 5, 6, 7 years you're going to know about. These kids are the real deal, and they are motivated and they're skilled and they're ready to learn and they're humble.
That's beautiful.
And they're well spoken. They speak 7 languages and they're coming.
Phil, Jamal, how are you guys doing?
Matt, we are good.
Fine, man.
We are happy in Los Angeles and doing great.
Great, thanks for joining me. Phil, Galvin, Jamal, Whaley.
Yes.
How do you guys know each other? Let's just get into it like that.
Well, it's pretty simple, Matt. You know, we met in Dubai, where we Jamal and I both helped really open the NBA's basketball school there. So I landed on the scene from San Francisco, and Jamal was coaching in another program, and I immediately saw what a great guy he was and that he was from America, and so we got to talking, huh?
Yep.
And we hired him. Yeah.
So you were from the Bay Area originally?
Yes.
You played up north, and you had some state basketball bona fides, did you not, in high school?
I played at Antioch High School, and then played at Santa Rosa Junior College, and then went back east to play in Maryland at a Division I school called Mount St. Mary's.
The Mount. And you had a pretty famous coach back then? Can you talk about that?
Matt, you have done your homework. This is impressive. So Jim Phelan, I played for, at the time, was one of the all-time winningest coach in the history of basketball. Yeah.
So I wanted to get into that a little bit. So Jim Phelan, legendary coach.
Yes.
How did his coaching affect the way, not just you coach basketball, but the way you move through the world?
Another great question right away. This is good. This guy knows what he's doing. Coach Phelan was a player's coach, which definitely has impacted the way that I approach the game. He was the kind of guy you could talk to. He was very open. He gave you some freedom, which was something I really enjoyed, and my teammates did. And so there's no question he had a very positive influence on me. Yeah.
So basketball coaching, I imagine, is similar to marriage in the fact that you were coaching together. It's very intimate. You get into some heated conversations. You share a vision, hopefully. How did you know how to choose each other? Because you both had a lot of options with people to choose, coaches to choose. How did you decide to connect?
Well, we was playing against the NBA basketball school. I had a company, me and a friend of mine, called Hoop Society.
In Dubai?
Yes.
You're from New York originally?
Yes.
Where in New York?
Brooklyn. Okay.
And how did you make it from Brooklyn to Dubai? Was it a direct or circuitous path?
No, a friend of mine said they need a coach in Dubai.
Okay.
They want some American coaches, and I told them, hey, I still want to play. Like, this is 2010.
Yeah.
You know, and I took them up on an offer 2011.
Yep.
And then I came and stayed for 3 months. Then came back 2014 and been there ever since. You know?
So was it a hard transition? Was it did it come naturally?
Yes, it was easy.
Easy.
He convinced me because he said, you're a point guard, right? So you can coach.
You're the second person that I've heard say that. In fact, someone said, talk to the point guards. You guys run the floor. Right. Is it a transitive property outside of basketball where you are comfortable commanding people or comfortable leading or comfortable in a position of high stress?
Yes, it's easier. It's easier because you're the coach on the court when you're playing for a coach.
So does the point guard position find you, or do you find the point guard position? Meaning, like, were you born someone who could operate well under pressure?
No, I don't think so. I think like I was taught that.
Got it.
You know,
okay.
Especially in New York City where you've seen every press you can imagine.
I would imagine so. So you find your way to Dubai. How many years were you there before you joined NBA basketball school?
Like 7.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And what about this relationship, Phil, connected you guys? Like, what did you see in Jamal that drew you to him?
Yeah. So the NBA school, when the NBA goes into another country, they have a pretty clear mission.
Okay.
And one of the main missions is to spread sort of the love of the game in a very positive way. Mm-hmm. And so,
can I ask you more about that?
Sure.
So when you talk about spreading the love of the game in a positive way, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. So basketball in many of the countries around the world, from a coaching perspective, is still a little bit of that curmudgeon, screaming, really demeaning kids. And so the NBA has a very clear mission to go into many places, to get on the ground, get with the kids, and encourage them in a positive, uplifting sort of way. And so Jamal is that kind of guy. So when we arrived, we were looking for a specific profile, a guy who has a great background, who's from America, who's extremely positive, who's fun to be around.
Okay.
And so the kids generate that interest and love of the game through that type of thing.
The old school coaching, the fire and brimstone, the yelling, what does that come from? Is that post World War II, like military, cultural?
Yeah, I think it's a fair question, Matt. I mean, what we have observed has been, a lot of the countries, especially Eastern European countries, Chinese, the coaches in those environments are a little old school.
Yeah.
And they were taught by the original guys. And then in America, as you know, it's become more of a player's game.
Yep.
And so there's been a transition of style.
Right.
And it's trailing in Europe.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's trailing. It's probably, in 10 years, it'll be much like it is in America. But now there's still a lot of stories you wouldn't want to tell that, kids getting balls thrown at their heads and
Really?
a lot of things that are just wrong.
Coaching style, culture of organization, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. So we come into the environment to spin it and to create fun.
When the NBA goes into a new community, there's a mandate to develop a love of the game.
There is.
Where does that come from?
It comes directly from Adam Silver, and it's just the idea that if a kid, right, Jamal, isn't having fun, he's not going to go work on his game.
Right.
And so it's clearly designed to spread, not just win, but spread the love of the game in the grassroots space.
Was this a David Stern era as well, or was that Adam Silver?
No, David Stern, clear global vision. Clear global vision.
He started in sub-Saharan Africa, is that correct, in his basketball?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So how many different NBA basketball schools are there in the world now?
There are, there will be 20, Jamal, 20 at the end of 2023.
That's incredible.
Yeah, 20. And this is all started, we were the first one in Dubai 3 years ago. And now that COVID is hopefully gone, it's moving quick. So I think there are 10 now, 10 NBA schools around the world.
Yeah, okay.
And there will be 20 by the end of the year.
You go into a new community, new culture. There's language barriers or not. Was it easy to go into Dubai and to start coaching in Dubai, or was it difficult?
In the beginning, it was difficult because you got to have a natural love for the game. Some of the kids there, only time they play is with a coach.
Yep.
So everybody wants lessons, private lessons, and group lessons. So we found that there was no community center. So for kids to go up and down and have fun with their friends.
Just naturally, organically purchased the idea of, okay.
Yeah, so it was difficult. So we want 2 times a week is not enough, you know, so we're trying to change that.
One of the things, Matt, it's a great question. So and you can use your imagination, right? So when the NBA, best basketball brand in the world,
Yep.
Without question, shows up in a place like the UAE or Dubai, big, shiny spaceship showing up, and a big deal.
Yep.
So it's not always easy because there are people in the community who, just like in California, are making money with basketball clubs, and here comes the mothership, the NBA landing. So we do our very best to sort of be comfortable with people, and we're there to help and to work with others. But it's not always easy when you start winning, and our program, there's 500 kids in the program in Dubai, and
500.
It's sold out. Yeah, there's standing room only. There's no room.
Wow.
So there are some challenges when you do that, just like in any business.
How do you overcome them? How do you find harmony?
We try to be like we are right now, just approachable. It should be kid centered and game centered. So we keep the focus on development, and I think just treating people the way you're supposed to treat them and not being arrogant or any of that. We come in very kindly, softly, and relationship oriented, and for the most part, it goes pretty well. Yeah.
So you're coaching kids from what age to what age? When you say basketball school, what does that mean to somebody who's never heard of the NBA basketball school?
Oh, ages from 8 to 18.
Wow.
And what's the joy for me is, and most of us, is that when we see them grow, develop, get them to go to schools, prep schools, college, and some of them we've seen them when they was like 8 years old. So even now, for the 2 years I'm there, it's like a big change, So.
Do you feel more pressure around the responsibility, or more inspiration around the opportunity, or other?
No, definitely inspiration.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. I owe those kids. I'm trying to give them what I was taught. So it's an easy transition, but you got to have a lot of patience because, they don't have the same background. Basketball is a culture here.
Yep.
So we're trying to catch up.
Yeah. One of the things that's really interesting, Matt, and you know this, I'm sure, is, one of 4 players in the NBA right now is not from the United States.
Yeah.
So the game of basketball is changing, and it's changing quickly. And some of our little guys, our 8s and 9s and 10s, are really skilled players. And they're from all over the world. And so,
Wait, they're from all over the world coming to
Yeah.
Dubai? What does that mean?
Yeah, so in Dubai sort of is one of these cities where people from everywhere else come.
Yep.
So there are kids, Jamal, from 61 countries
Yes.
in our gym, all at the same time. So you could have a team with every single player is from, one's from Serbia, one's from Turkey, one's from India, one's from Lebanon, one's from Australia, all on the same team. And they all speak English, so it's really very unusual. And
Yeah.
and for us as coaches, it's like unbelievable because there's a couple things. One, they're really hungry to learn.
Yeah.
Luca, the new guy, Victor. These guys are coming from those communities, so
Yep.
there's hope.
There's hope.
There's hope, and so it's a big deal.
It sounds like basketball is almost secondary to the idea of, you talk about 2 things already you've mentioned, is hope and love, the love of the game and hope.
Yeah.
Through the conveyor of basketball, is that correct?
Yeah, and it's like in the UAE, we have a girls program, 100 girls, and
That's
might
extraordinary.
seem like
Extreme.
not a big deal, but you land in Dubai in the middle of, the country's only 50 years old.
Yep.
So, and then you have 100 girls playing basketball. It is a powerful
That's remarkable.
thing that's happening in the country.
That's a tool for a lot more than just
Oh man.
yeah, just like getting in shape and learning a jump
Yeah.
shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, why were you drawn to there? Was this your first international station?
So the NBA, I was hired by the NBA to open up the basketball school in Turkey.
Yep, that was your first stint, right?
And then COVID hit, and actually my daughter Mia, who's here with us today, she and I both moved to Turkey. 3 months, and then COVID hit.
Yep.
So we had to shut it down. So we
Entirely, just
we had to shut it down,
okay.
yeah. And so we moved back to the States for a couple months.
Back to California, or
Back to California, and then as COVID sort of started to settle, maybe, it was a year. We were doing different basketball things. They called back and said, we're going to keep the Turkey school on hold, but we need you to go to Dubai.
to which you said what?
We gave it some thought because I didn't know a lot about Dubai, but once we did our homework, and Dubai is the front porch of the NBA school. It's the original school. It's the biggest school. It's the most successful school. It's the first school that's come to do something like we're doing with you today in Los Angeles. They've never had a group of kids from an NBA school come to America to play. So this is the first time it's ever happened.
You said it's the front porch. I love that
Yeah.
phrase, but it is the first school, NBA school in the world?
It's the first NBA school ever in the world.
So you're talking about being able to create a bunch of, as they quote unquote, the tech people say, white space. There's a lot of opportunity for putting your imprimatur on it, but there's also an incredible amount of white space. Some people operate well with a roadmap, and some people operate well going off road. But it's an opportunity. But there's a lot of abstraction to that. How do you even start to think about going into another community and building this thing? And then, by the way, being the pilot project, like if you don't go well, I guess they might not be so thrilled about taking it into another community.
Yeah, I think, and Jamal knows this. I mean, I think basketball, one of the great things about it is it's colorblind.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter where you are. So the fundamentals of the game, the way to think about the game, the lessons you learn are all there, no matter if you're in Los Angeles or Dubai.
Right.
So we go in hard with that, powered by the brand. So in Dubai, for instance, there are NBA games being played.
Yep.
Our kids got to meet Shaq.
Oh,
They
you're
got to
kidding.
meet Giannis. They got to meet Trae Young. I mean, in
Here
some ways,
or there?
There.
Yeah.
They made the trip.
They played. So this past year, the Bucks played the Hawks,
Oh, that's
and Shaquille O'Neal, Dominique Wilkins, Isaiah Thomas, Vince Carter. They were all there.
just
So-
as ambassadors.
and our
Yes.
kids, in some ways, and Jamal and I would talk about this, being from Brooklyn, they have opportunities not even American kids have. They're meeting these guys. They're
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
like taking pictures with Shaq. And I know in our
Yes.
hometown, son, Jamal,
Yeah, you can't do that.
you're not
yeah,
going to get
no
to do
way,
that.
no.
So
That's right.
they're building a complete basketball infrastructure in the UAE right now.
Out of a love of the game, you're bringing the best ambassadors
The
possible.
school, there's a league. We have a league, 500 kids. The players this year, the Mavericks are playing. The Timberwolves,
Yes.
Team USA is coming on August 11th.
The human highlight reel all the way to the greatest, most dominant big man ever.
Yeah,
Give it up.
yeah, that's right.
And many, many others.
That's right.
What does the NBA get from this?
Well, I think there's a couple things. One, the NBA's vision, and it's clear, is to build the love of the game on the globe.
Yes.
You know,
More of
also-
a market reach, obviously.
there's all kinds of stuff that's happening. I mean, the NBA, what they also get is a talent structure. You know, they are. There's no question there will be an NBA player probably in 10 years
Yeah.
from the UAE, and so it is a global game,
Yep.
and it is a global league, and so they get a ton. Not only all the merchandise, but they get the opportunity to affect basketball all over the world using the power of the NBA brand.
Right.
And with all the players coming from all over the world, it just, you know, Giannis, I mean, it just makes sense to do that.
Whenever my kids do something well in basketball, in school, whatever, I claim that. I said, that's you, but it's mostly me. I raised you. How does that feel, knowing that on some level, major or minor, but probably major, that when that person lands in the NBA, you two will have had fundamental responsibility in that?
Oh, it would feel great.
Yeah.
It would feel great. I have old pictures now of kids when they were 7. Now they're here with us.
Right.
So, you know, with big dreams and aspirations and make it to the league or just to be successful in general. If we can accomplish that, we're happy with that.
Why come here?
Yeah.
Why come to, we're here at West Coast Elite Summer Classic in Seal Beach, California. Why come here? Out of all the places you
Yeah.
could go in the world, why land here?
I know the brand of West Coast Elite.
Yep.
We came here. The kids went to UCLA, USC. They're
That's-
going to Venice Beach tomorrow
Oh, that's great. To
So-
shoot, to play, or just to,
to play.
oh my God.
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
fantastic.
So we came here because we knew it was all in one place. The parents, you know, weren't going to have to drive across Vegas the whole time.
Yep.
And we knew it was pretty safe from a setup perspective. The NBA and safety, it's like the logistics of this are not like a normal AAU situation.
It's funny that doesn't enter your mind in the front of, doesn't my mind, but now that you mention it, it's got to be
the
logistically so
brand,
complicated,
yeah.
the brand, everything, and there's so much exposure,
Yeah, yeah.
nothing can go wrong.
No. And the background checks and all of it,
Yeah.
it's a completely different thing than getting in the vans and driving from Bakersfield.
Yep.
And then the beach and the schools and the sun, a lot of things we could sort of count on,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
wonderful. I know you have to go soon. Where are you in 5 years?
Well, you know, it's a good question. I think one of the things that we envision is the NBA school in Dubai. We feel like there could be probably 1,000 kids playing.
Doubling what you already
Doubling, yeah. It's more of just a matter of time. Like there's already 300 kids on the wait list to get in.
That's incredible.
There's a whole sort of a giant infrastructure of international NBA basketball schools being built, and we envision all of them coming to the States for like a camp.
Yep.
And
Wow.
then many of them, like even next year, I would be surprised if there weren't 2 or 3 other schools from like Lithuania and Spain joining Dubai here, and sort of infusing in to the American AAU system for a couple weeks.
Yeah. How's the competition here?
Oh, competition's great. Yeah, it's that's why we're here, because the kids need to see. You know, the players here are doing a lot that they aren't doing in Dubai. They're playing on high school teams that practice every day. In Dubai, if you're on a high school team,
Yeah.
you might practice twice a week.
Wow.
So here, if you're on a high school team in LA, you're practicing 6 days a week during the season. You have summer ball,
yeah. Trainers.
the
that's it.
football players that are playing, all of that stuff. You don't have any of that in Dubai.
Got it.
So we're here to sort of expose them and go back. And these kids are hungry, Matt. There are some 8 and 9-year-olds in our program that in 5, 6, 7 years you're going to know about. These kids are the real deal, and they are motivated and they're skilled and they're ready to learn, and
That's
they're
so good.
humble,
That's beautiful.
and they're well spoken. They speak 7 languages, and they're coming.
Yeah.
So it's all of that stuff, you know.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. I wish
Yeah.
you both the best. I know you have to go to your game right now.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me, and I appreciate all
Thank
that
you
you've
for
done.
having
Yeah,
us.
thank you.
It's my
Matt.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Anytime.